Hey, welcome to the Campbell Museum's collection storage. All the boxes and drawers contain endless stories, and today we'll explore the secret life of one of our boxes. I'm Anna, and part of my job as the collections manager and curator is caring for the objects in our collection. This includes making sure objects are stored safely and that we have thorough records on each item. So join me as I explore what's in the box and make sure that each item is preserved for generations to come. Ooh, look at all these goodies. This box was noted as housing general store items. The museum was donated hundreds of items from the Genassi family, who owned the general store in downtown Campbell. The donor, Ed Genassi, worked in the store as a kid and was a volunteer firefighter along with his dad. He later became the volunteer fire chief. General stores were a lot like Target or Walmart, where they sold a wide range of products rather than specializing in just one area. Before I take photos of each item and update their records, let's learn a little bit more about them. I usually start my research by simply looking up the company that made the item, and then I go down whatever rabbit hole that I find most interesting. I hope you enjoy what I find. This is part 1 of 3, so please check out our other videos to see the rest of the episode and explore the other items in this box. Behold, a self-vulcanizing tire patch for automobiles. This was created in 1913 by a company in San Francisco. It's called the Apache. This is 1913, so remember, this is definitely not a PC moment in history, and you can kind of see that there is an image of an Indian chief on the packaging. So, let's learn about tires. In all seriousness, there are over 1 billion cars on the road worldwide, and that would not be possible if not for pneumatic rubber tires. These tires are the result of multiple inventors working across several decades. There are quite a few milestones in tire history, and we definitely can't cover them all here. Before rubber was developed, the first version of tires were wooden wheels with strips of metal and leather fitted around them to prevent wear and tear. Then we got rubber. In 1844, more than 50 years before the first rubber tires would appear on cars, Charles Goodyear, an American self-taught chemist and manufacturing engineer, patented a process known as vulcanization. Vulcanize. Vulcanizing means to treat with rubber, with sulfur or sulfur compounds under heat and pressure to improve elasticity and strength or to produce a hard substance such as vulcanite. Vulcanization made rubber waterproof and winterproof while at the same time preserving its elasticity. That said, early rubber tires were solid and not inflated. The tires we know today are made of rubber and they're filled with air, which provides a flexible cushion that absorbs shock as the tire rolls over rough features on the surface. Pneumatic. Fancy way to say inflated, containing or operated by air or gas under pressure. The first known patent for vulcanized rubber pneumatic tires appears in 1847 by Scottish inventor Robert William Thomson. Unfortunately, it never got produced for a large scale, and it wasn't until 1888 when John Boyd Dunlop created the first practical pneumatic rubber tire. He was trying to create a smoother bicycle ride when riding on rough pavements. The public was super excited by the prospect of a ride that wouldn't send the shock of every bump and pothole running through their bodies. After that, we never looked back. There are many types of tires. You've got winter, all season, all terrain, mud terrain, high performance, race car, heavy duty. There's also tires for airplanes, bicycles, motorcycles, and these are all designed differently. They provide different levels of traction and absorption. The interactions of a tire with the pavement are complex, so precise engineering is needed for proper tire design. But they are all pneumatic and rubber. Magical. But they can fail. Unfortunately, the layers in a tire can separate, get cracks, bulges, or go flat. Our object here is for that final scenario, a flat tire. This is an early auto patch kit from 1913, and it was sold in our local general store. Fun fact, in 2016, Z-Tire, a rubber company in Dubai, created a set of tires worth $600,000, getting them into the Guinness Book of World Records. The tires are bedazzled in 24 karat gold and embedded with diamonds. You still there? If so, maybe you could support the Campbell Museums and help us reach our gold and diamond encrusted tire dreams. In museum speak, that means museum-grade storage supplies. Once paper was invented, people needed a means of using pigment to write. Without the ability to put ink or graphite to paper, the act of writing books or personal letters, taking notes in school, making technical drawings like maps and architectural blueprints, or creating works of art would have been a challenge, if not impossible. In Roman times, scribes used styluses made of lead to write. Today, we use graphite, though we still refer to it as lead. Graphite was first discovered in England in 1564, appreciated for leaving a darker mark than lead. The mineral was much softer and more brittle, requiring a holder. Originally, graphite sticks were wrapped in string. Later, the graphite was inserted into hollowed-out wooden sticks, and thus the wood pencil case was born. As you know, pencils need to be sharpened quite often, and here we have a Victorian-era pencil sharpener. This Dandy brand pencil sharpener was patented in 1893 and was a very common sharpener style for the time period. I think we can all agree that writing with a dull pencil is no fun, but having to constantly sharpen it is a real hassle. So enter the mechanical pencil. Mechanical pencils provide lines of constant width without sharpening. This Bell Systems pencil likely dates to the 1940s. Mechanical pencils were first used in the 1700s, but the first patent for a refillable pencil was in 1822, and it wasn't until the 1920s that mechanical pencils were a consumer hit. So that covers pencils, and now on to pens. More specifically, fountain pens and fountain ink, since that's what we have represented here. Fountain pen. A fountain pen is a nib pen that contains an internal reservoir of liquid ink. The pen draws ink from the reservoir through a feed in the nib and deposits it on paper via a combination of gravity and capillary action. The earliest fountain pen may have been invented in the 10th century for a caliph in Arab Egypt. Evidence shows that a working fountain pen was also constructed and used during the Renaissance by artist and inventor Leonardo da Vinci. The progress in developing a reliable pen was slow until the mid-1800s. It was only after 3 key inventions were in place that the fountain pen became a widely popular writing instrument. Those were the iridium-tipped gold nib, hard rubber. That's right, thanks to Goodyear and vulcanization, hard rubber was also used for things like fountain pen bodies. And free-flowing ink. Let's look at ink a bit more. For years, the ink could be corrosive and often leaked. People wanted ink that didn't clump, flowed well, drained quickly, and didn't smear or fade. It wasn't until the early 1900s that ink started to reflect those needs. Founded in 1860, Carter's has been making ink for over 150 years. Carter's coal black ink, as we have here, is a jet black ink adapted for records keeping that they claim will not fade from the sun or water damage. Schaefer introduced script ink in 1922. It was touted as the successor to ink because it wouldn't gum or clog pens. Using it, they claimed, would end all pen troubles. But it wasn't until the mid-1930s that script developed one of its most famous features, the script well. And ours has one. It is intended as a way to get all of the ink out of the bottle. It traps ink up there, and that way it's more easily accessible for filling your pen. And there you go. Those are the first 2 items in our box, so please check episodes 2 and 3 to learn about the other items and to see the behind-the-scenes processing that goes into properly caring for them.